So many thought today's announcement might be what's needed to help get the government back open. Well, Congressman Adam Smith tells me this news might help. Smith represents Washington's 9th Congressional District, covering cities from Bellevue to Federal Way. He recently spoke to the Council on Foreign Relations, where he talked about why this shutdown has been so different from those in the past.
Mike Johnson has effectively dissolved the United States House of Representatives because the President of the United States asked him to. That is insane, okay? We have had shutdowns before. We have. We have always been in session during the shutdowns. In fact, usually we are in session more often than we had planned for rather obvious reasons. We had something important to do, which was figuring out how to open the government back up again. But now we haven't been in session since September 19th. I mean, I've been in Congress now 29 years, and if you told me during any one of those years that between September and November we wouldn't be in session, I would have looked at you like, A, you're insane, or B, something really, really bad happened.
Tonight I sat down with the congressman for more on this historic shutdown. I want to get your thoughts now that we have reached the longest shutdown ever.
Well, it's a very difficult situation. I mean, first of all, the biggest thought I have is the impact that this is certainly having on the country. You know, SNAP benefits have been restricted to the extent that they're being sent out. They're not being sent out in full. We've got a large number of furloughed federal workers. Services at airports elsewhere are beginning. So there's a major problem for the country and something we need to get to the other side of and get the government back open. But the problem is we also have a major health care crisis in this country. We are now, November 5th. And we are past the November 1st date when people have to start selecting their health care, and nothing has been done about the subsidies going away that are going to drive up health care costs for millions of Americans and drive millions of Americans off of health care and drive up costs for tens of millions more. And then the other problem I want people to understand is the Republicans, and I've never seen this before in a shutdown, they are refusing to even talk to Democrats. The United States House of Representatives has been out since September 19th. Speaker Mike Johnson has effectively dissolved the United States House of Representatives and refusing to even talk about it. Donald Trump's doing the same. And the reason this is important is because they need Democratic votes to advance their budget. And if you need Democratic votes, then you need to have a conversation with us about what we think is important for the American people. They're saying, no, you just have to vote for our budget, and we're not even going to talk to you about it. I mean, that is a very autocratic way to run the government. And at the end of the day, Democrats don't have to vote to drive millions of people off of their health care, or to have all of the cuts that we've seen in SNAP benefits or the cuts to Medicaid. So we need to get back in session in the U.S. House, and we need to start negotiating a solution to this problem.
I want to get your thoughts on this because you've been in Congress for a long time. It feels like, as somebody who's not there, that both sides, meaning Democrats or Republicans, they don't seem to work together like they used to. Is this what you're finding most recently, that maybe there's such a divide that maybe one side's not willing to listen to the other side like it used to be maybe in the past?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, again, since Donald Trump has become president, there has never been a more extreme partisan use of the presidency than what Donald Trump has done. I mean, he is openly out there saying, I am going to cut programs that are important to Democrats in Democratic states. He's canceling energy programs like wind and solar programs in Democratic states. He's canceling transportation projects in Democratic states. He's firing people in Democratic states. He's specifically making it partisan. He's telling his Justice Department, I don't like that person. Go prosecute them. I mean, this is an unprecedented abuse of power by the President of the United States. And yes, this refusal of Democrats to vote for the Republican budget is in part about health care, but it's also about the rule of law. I mean, President Trump running the government this way, sending troops into American cities, telling the American people that he's going to use American cities as a training ground for the U.S. military, threatening, and I forget the exact phrase he used when he did the apocalypse now analogy for Chicago, and that he's going to rain hellfire down upon them. This isn't normal. Sorry, normal is the wrong way to put it. This is not good for the United States of America. This is an abuse of executive power that I think the legislative branch ought to stand up to. And it's just astonishing to me that Mike Johnson, as Speaker of the House, refuses to speak to Democrats at all and refuses to have Congress even be in session. This is unprecedented. We have never had a shutdown where Congress, either branch, has gone out of session. In fact, in most shutdowns, we're in session more because we got work to do. The government shut down. We got to fix that. Mike Johnson's taken the approach that now we'll let Trump run the country and we'll just sort of dissolve the legislative branch.
So while the House is not in session, you are in D.C. doing work there. What are you doing to make sure that at least the train stays on the tracks as much as you can?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to keep my constituents informed about what services are available, what those services are being cut off, let them know, how they can navigate through that, help with casework. Also, as the ranking member of the Armed Services Committee, the war that President Trump has started with Venezuela, blowing up boats down in Caribbean, we're doing oversight on that. We actually finally had a meeting with the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of State today that I was present at, where they offered up their legal justification and their policy justification for what they're doing. So trying to keep oversight of the Department of Defense and what's going on with that issue. And that, there's a lot of work to do. And also, I think I want to show the American people that we're back here. We're ready to work to hopefully encourage the Republican majority to embrace the idea that we all ought to be here working.